And welcome to the Guitarfingers tutorial on Ding Dong Merrily on High from the second book of my Christmas Carols Book 2, aimed at around the grade 3, which is about the intermediate, start of the intermediate standards. So, looking at the music, we can see a little bit busier than the first two pieces in the book, a little bit trickier, kind of a step up I guess. Lots of bass notes with 2-note chords on top of them, so 3-note chords all together, and the tricky long section towards the in the second half of the piece there to feel the phrasing correctly. I've written it as allegro, so eventually we want to try and play it with a nice bouncy feel to it. So, but we'll start nice and steady to help us going through. So, the keys in the key of C major, no sharps or flats, and unless of course they were to appear within the song as accidentals. The first bit of advice I give on this type of song is we've got a C chord to start off with, C, fret 3, on string 5, a G and a high C, fret 1 there on string 2, and straight away we've got fingers having to move to form a new chord. Okay, so I've got an F, an A and a D. So the best piece of advice is to offer just to change, how to change this chord from one to another, and just get used to that feeling of the finger 3 going to the F from the C, and then the fingers 2 and 4 coming on the A and D. So this sounds like now. Okay, so we can hear that song coming through. And holding the bass notes. So here I'd like to hear that F until I need to change my finger 3 to play that low G in the next bar. So changing chord shapes, practice that on its own as just a left hand change if you're new to playing chords like that. Then add your right hand to get the sound and holding the bass notes as you're playing. And of course, always go slow to start. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you get the idea. It feels a bit laborious doing it that way, but it's the best way of practicing. So moving on, we've got a set of chords now. So we've got the C and the G, F and A. Now keep your A down on finger 2 there, D with an A and a C. Keep your C down this time, your finger 1. Okay, so we've got a G chord like with a C in the top there to B, and then back to a C chord again. And then the end of that bar there takes us back to bar 5. It's exactly the same. What I've done there in bar 8, you can see I've produced a full C chord. So if you're new to this again, just get used to feeling the C chord that we played and then add finger 2 on fret 2 of string 4 for your middle E there. I call it middle E because it's in between the two high and low E's, and then we can get the full chord, and I'm just using thumb IMA to play all the notes there. So we've got repeats. To me it's all about learning the chord changes on their own. So here in the last 2 bars of line 2, I'm just using my left hand to imagine playing the chords, and then that allows me to just work through that left hand only before adding the right hand in. That takes us to bar 9. Okay, so we've got a repeated section here, and like in the music it kind of repeats through. Tricky here, and what we'll do, we'll just take it at a phrase at a time because it feels like you can't take a breath, you just need to push it all the way through, but we want to have some feeling of where this like stops and starts just to help us in our practicing. So we start off with a C and a high G, fingers 3 and 4, C on fret 1 of string 2, so nice sounding chord there. We've got a rhythmic count, dotted crotchets, 1, 2 and there you go. You've got to move finger 1 up to the F to help that. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, so you can start to feel the music. And what we'll do, we'll just add that D, A and F at the end of it, so it feels like it's the end of a small little sub-phrase. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1, 2. You get the idea that I'm not making the chord at the start of each of those bars big and heavy. I'm kind of ending a phrase with it and starting a new phrase with the individual note. So carrying on, let's have a look at bar 10. So we got to the E, D and G, 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and A minor chord, A and C, D, E, C. I've used fingers 2 and 4 there. I think it's probably just a nice fingering for me. You could use finger 3 for the D, but I don't want to, because I like to use finger 4s on the Ds and keep my finger 3 for the low notes. So I've got a C, 1 and 2 and C chord. Now then, we've got that B, low F, finger 1, fret 1, and finger 2 on the A on string 3. Sorry. And what we need to do there is move finger 1 fairly quickly. When you play the B after that, it goes to the C, finger 2 for the A, finger 3, A, G, and you get the idea that we're just using the same chord shapes to play the melody line through. So my best advice on this song is to take it slow. Really learn to count these phrases through and do little sub-phrases. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And you get the idea that we can just play through quite nicely and then build that tempo up. So I hope that's helped you think about the phrasing, how to change chords and practice to change those chords. You can see I've made some chords fuller, that means more notes, adding to the harmonies in the middle of the chord, the top note, the melody and the bass. And just good luck with learning to play that through. Again, think about your right hand fingerings. If you're starting to play with one finger too much, it will get too tired. So make sure you're alternating your fingers the best you can. If you need to put some finger markings down to help you, where you're playing with index and middle and so on, then do so, it will help you. So good luck with Ding Dong, Merrily on High.